3 years ago, my wife and I were trying to buy a house. 3 years ago was 2020, my friends. And we were in bidding wars after bidding wars. But we finally were able to find a house that had just enough land so that I could pursue my dreams of creating a food forest. The number one thing that I was concerned about when looking for a house was the amount of land that it had so that I could create a garden. I was so happy when we found this piece of land that it had an extra little lot attached to it that is about 20 feet wide by 120 feet long. So when we finally got our offer accepted, I was really excited, and we waited and waited until our documents were approved, and then we were able to move in. I am not kidding you when I say that the day that we went and signed the contract, I had loaded my car with all of my gardening gear and it was in my trunk, and I got here right after signing and I started my garden right away. The lawn was a lawn filled with grass, and immediately I ordered some wood chips to fill it all up with wood chips so that I can start building soil and I can start growing my own food in my front lawn and all around my yard as well. 3 years later, my yard looks like this, full of raised beds and full with life. The bees love the flowers at the front, and I enjoy all the gardening that I can get done right at the front because this is where I can get the most amount of sun during the summer months. I truly believe that if we all started a garden in our homes, we could reduce the impact that we're having on the earth. I garden for many reasons, but the main component is to save money. By growing my own food, I am able to grow about 80% of all the produce that my family consumes in 1 year. I like growing foods that store really well and easily. So I like growing sweet potatoes, dry beans, squash, and potatoes. I also enjoy growing other fruits like tomatoes and peppers, and those I can freeze really easily. But the other reason I like growing food is to help the environment by not having to truck in all of those produce from all over the world when I can grow it right here in my own yard. My goal is to encourage people who have not started a garden before to start gardening and to start growing some of their own food. The easiest crops that you can grow are herbs. You can grow them on a windowsill or even in a small patio in pots. For many years, I lived in an apartment, but I also had a community garden. At the community garden, I could grow fruits and vegetables that really needed a lot of sun, like tomatoes and peppers. But at my house, I had a prolific herb garden in pots, in a small patio that only got about 4 hours of direct sunlight. Behind me here, I have an herb garden that I have very near to my kitchen because I like to come out of my kitchen and clip some herbs and put them into my cooking. I love green onions and chives, so I like having a steady supply of them. And here I have 4 pots filled with chives and green onions, and these will grow perfectly through the winter. And look at how small this pot is. It's very small, but you can grow 20 onions or so in a small space just like this. I also like growing basil in pots. This is a holy basil and it smells really good. It's really good to add to soups and fish stews. Another thing that I love is chili peppers, and I have been growing these small chili peppers in small containers like this. And check out how many peppers I have in here. And you only need a few peppers to make a meal spicy and tasty. These are also small Thai chili peppers, and they do well in containers small as this, just like a gallon size. In this other container, I have some parsley, and in the past I've grown other herbs like sage and oregano in pots just about this size. If you live in an apartment, my recommendation is that you start a container garden in your patio or even on your windowsill. Getting that seed started in the ground or in a pot will inspire you to in the future create and find ways to grow more of your own food. There's also easy ways to find little grow setups that you can put on your countertops, and you can grow some herbs on that. But those can get a little expensive sometimes. So that's why I recommend that you just grow some herbs on your windowsill. But if you have a home that has enough yard, you can put in a couple of raised beds and grow some tomatoes and some herbs, and hopefully that will get you encouraged to start growing more and more of your own food. Homegrown vegetables taste a lot better than the ones that you buy at the grocery store. The reason for that is that the produce that you buy at the store gets harvested before it is ripe. For example, a tomato gets picked when it's pink, and then it gets shipped across the country, and then you have it at the store for a couple of days. They get it home, and then you try it, and it just doesn't taste the same. But if you can't garden and if you don't have enough space, make sure you visit your local farmers market, because those people are doing the work that should be done. They are picking the things in season and when they are ripe, and they are definitely the better tasting ones. I hope that you get encouraged to grow some of your own food, and that you follow my channel here so I can teach you how to grow more food in a small backyard. I have over 100 videos showing you how to grow food in a small backyard, so make sure you check my playlist down below. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you on the next one.